Good morning, everybody. It's meteorologist Terry Swails, and you're on tswails.com. And this is a special briefing on some thunderstorms that have developed around the region during the morning hours. These will continue to fester around here for the next couple of hours, but they're gradually moving southeast. You can see them now extending from east of Sterling Rock Falls, just to the south of the Quad Cities, and back into southeastern Iowa around Ottumwa. Now, the thunderstorms are not severe, but here and there they have dumped out some locally heavy rainfall, and they're due to some storms that popped up last night to the north, up in Minnesota and Wisconsin and northern Iowa. And those storms there formed a cool pool of air, what's called an outflow boundary, and as that pushed southward into our warm, unstable air, it's generated the thunderstorms this morning. There should be a general weakening trend of these. We expect them to be falling apart. And after that, we should get into some sunshine later on this afternoon. But here's a nice little shot of the satellite imagery, and you can see that arc of clouds there. That's the outflow boundary, kind of a mini cold front that extends right across the Quad Cities and into eastern and central Iowa. That's going to be kind of holding in the general area for much of the day today and will be the focus for some additional thunderstorms as we move into the late day or nighttime hours. So it's not going to be a total washout today, but there will be some scattered storms around through the morning hours. Where things get real tricky with these mesoscale situations is how much sun will eventually pop out and what that will do as far as temperatures go. Here's our high-resolution NAM model, and it does indicate the highest today with the clouds around substantially cooler than other models. It only has us up to around 83 or 84 here in the Quad Cities. However, this is another high-resolution model here, and it has the temperatures reaching up to the low 90s around the Quad Cities this afternoon. And to be honest with you, I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think we're going to stay in the low 80s either, so splitting the difference makes a pretty good forecast in my opinion. So I'm thinking we should end up somewhere around 87, maybe 88 degrees if we get the sunshine that I'm expecting here later on this afternoon. And of course, that's a big if. If you don't get the sun, the solar insolation, the temperature's just not going to warm the way we're expecting. One thing I am certainly sure about is that there's going to be a lot of moisture around. These are the dew points today, and they should be up around the mid-70s for much of the afternoon hours. So you toss that into those temperatures that are up in the 80s, well into the 80s, and the heat index values will get up in that range of at least the mid-90s later on today. Very sultry conditions, to say the least. Now, one of the things that will also make a difference on the instability is just how warm it gets this afternoon. Now, that one model I showed you that was cooler has the highest capes today, which is necessary for the stronger storms way out to the west. See that area of white there that stretches through western Iowa? That's a region of high capes or instability. CAPE stands for Convective Available Potential Energy, and that's where the strongest of that is located, so that's where the most organized area of severe weather would be according to this model. But as we take a look at that other high-res model we showed you with the warmer temperatures, you can see how much higher the capes are across Iowa and into northern Illinois. That's extremely unstable air there. So again, I think we kind of have to split the difference, but there's certainly enough energy around that if we get another round of storms to form here late today and tonight, severe weather would certainly be a possibility in some of the stronger storms. But I do think the most focused area should be out to the west, where there's going to be some better upper level support and winds. But just the same, we'll have to watch for some additional storms here later today and tonight. And one of our models here does show those forming again here as we get towards the evening hours. You can see right now that the storms that's depicted on this model covering much of eastern Iowa and back through central Illinois, and that's during the early evening hours. And then we take you out till later on in the night. You can still see some thunderstorms festering around the region. But I can tell you this much, models just have a terrifically tough time forecasting thunderstorms and convection. That's just not one of their strengths. It does give you some trends and give you some regions to focus on. So you can see that entire region there from Illinois and Iowa out on into Nebraska under the gun for at least scattered thunderstorm development, not only this morning, but again later this afternoon and tonight, and really probably into tomorrow as well, as the overall weather pattern does not exhibit a lot of change. So we'll have to watch for some of those to be scattered around the region. The Storm Prediction Center does indicate at least a slight risk for some severe storms, and that's a situation we'll be closely monitoring here on tswails.com. So that's your weather briefing this morning. Thanks for joining us, and as always, roll weather.